Hello everyone and welcome to our live stream. Happy New Year. This is Luciano from KORG here. Today with the PA600 and we're going to be doing a style jam today. So we're going to be having some fun celebrating the new year and exploring some of the preset factory styles that come with this amazing keyboard. So without further ado, before I say anything else, let's have some fun and let's explore this orchestral movie style. All right, everyone. Well, welcome to our live stream. Once again, Happy New Year. Welcome to the first KORG live stream of 2021. My name is Luciano Minetti. I'm a product specialist with KORG USA. Very happy to be here. I hope you're all doing well. And today, just so you know, we have Eric from KORG as well in the chat. So feel free to type your questions and he will be answering questions for you all. But very happy to be here and excited to be here with the PA600. And just a little backstory about what made me want to do this stream and call it a style jam. Prior to coming to KORG, as you know, I play a lot of jazz. And because of that, I never really delved much into the arranger lineup at KORG. And coming to the PA600, and when I received it, it was really a blast for me to just start getting into it and realize how much you can just build ideas. And whatever song ideas I have, melodic ideas, it's really an amazing live performance tool. And a recording instrument, which we're going to go into the sequencer as well in the stream. But it's really an inspiring instrument to play, and I have a lot of fun with it. Now, the PA600 is a really affordable arranger that's a professional arranger in our lineup that borrows many features from our more expensive arranger keyboards, but puts it in a really nice portable package with built-in speakers, which sound really loud if you're in the room, and give you a lot of control over not only the styles, but the sounds, and even allow you to make your own styles and create whatever you're going to need for the gig, basically. So, by the way, if you have, let's see, do you have USB? We do have a USB connectivity as on the back as well as 1/4-inch outputs that I'm going to be using now for audio in the stream. So continuing, I just want to tell you what we're going to do in the stream today. I want to give you an overview of a lot of the factory preset styles that are inside of the keyboard. And once we go over those, we'll then kind of experiment with what all of these different intro, variation, and ending buttons do, what these pad buttons do, what these STS, single touch settings, what they accomplish for you. And then towards the end of the stream, I want to show you a little bit about how easy it is to make your own styles and even to just do a quick recording, because that's what this keyboard excels at for me. So starting with an overview of the main panel, you're going to see that if you're familiar with our workstation lineup of keyboards, things like the new Nautilus, the Kronos, the PA series of keyboards has a different approach to navigation, but it's a very, you have buttons on the panel to be able to access things very easily for live performance, which I think is what makes it really fun to use live. You saw during the opening demo, I was using different buttons as well as the touch view display to navigate the instrument. So starting on the left, you'll see that we have a style play mode, song play, sequencer, and sound edit. Now, I was just playing a style, so I was in the style play mode, and my style that I'm using, as you can see on the screen, is the orchestral movie style. That is in the movie and show category. Now, if I want to see what other styles are available to me, I can click where it says style on the main screen. And as you can see, I have all these different factory categories: Latin, Latin dance, jazz, the movie and show category that I was in, as well as a favorite and user bank where I can write and save my modified styles or even my original styles. Now, song play mode, we're not going to spend too much time in today, but you can load different types of files: MIDI files, MP3 files, karaoke files. So basically, when you're playing live, if you want to play with a backing track, that's a really great functionality for you to be able to do. Continuing, our sequencer mode, which we'll spend some time in as well, but it's very, very, very easy for you to go ahead and record your musical creations all in the PA600, which is really nice. And the sound edit mode, which is going to give you the building blocks for styles, as well as the single touch settings, which are going to give you those upper voices and the lower voices on your keyboard. So whatever you're playing or whatever the accompaniment tracks are playing. So for example, if I'm in sound edit mode, I have my grand piano RX, which stands for Real Experience. And you can hear that. So what's pretty cool about sound edit mode is that it's going to give you the ability to go in and tweak various parameters of any sound in the keyboard. And you can see right here, my real-time controls give me some really good access to attack, decay, release, cutoff. Clicking the menu button will give me even more parameters to edit for the sound that I'm working with. So LFOs, if I want to go here and affect pitch, I can change a lot of different things. Portamento, if you're using a synth sound, is really useful. Now, again, there are many different categories here, and there's even a bank for user sounds. So if you have a specific style set, now a lot of you out there I know are very, very dedicated Arranger fans, and I've checked out your videos online using this for various genres of music, and you use it to its fullest potential. In order to get that, I know you all use the user sample library that you can import some of your own sounds, which is really great. Now, like I said today, I want to explore some of the styles. So let's go ahead and start our main tour in the style play mode. Now, I'm going to pull up the sound. If you just got a PA600, if you've had it for a while, we'll start with one of the unplugged ballads. And I just want to explain to you, if you're somebody new to this, somebody who's never used an arranger before, how does it work? How do you build music organically? And what do these buttons down here do for you when you're just trying to get in and start creating quickly? So I have my unplugged ballad called up. And the first thing you're going to notice on the screen here is I have STS1, STS2, 3, and 4. Now, what these are meant to give you are preset sounds that go well with the style that you call up. So, for example, in this unplugged ballad, I have a nylon guitar that's going to start. So give a listen to the sound. I'll take the split mode off. So now I have the full keyboard, which will be the guitar. And as you go through the different style sets, you'll notice that it gives you different variations, sometimes of guitars, other sounds, to really just make it useful when you're playing live to go through different presets. So these are going to go really well. For example, when I play a chord in my left hand, if I have split mode on and I go ahead and hit my start, you're going to hear that now I introduced the accompaniment tracks that are backing me up with the A minor chord that I played in my left hand. And I can now use that distortion guitar over the top. If I want to go back to the nylon guitar, so you can see how easy it is to go ahead and just switch the style sets there. But one thing I want you to understand, if you're new to arrangers again, is that these different single touch settings will give you up to 3 voices that you can use in the upper voice, is what we call, and 1 in the lower voice. So if you want to go ahead and have maybe 2 different guitars or a string patch behind your piano patch, you can have that all here and save them to these single touch settings that you can really just get the exact sound that you want. Somebody said a really good question, actually, why the PA600? And I would say the reason why we did the PA600 is because it's still a really good entry-level point for our Arranger keyboards. And it's a very powerful instrument. And for a lot of people, this is going to be exactly what they need. They don't need maybe all the features of our PA1000, our PA4X, certainly. And it's a really great portable and affordable package. So I think it's still worth diving into and really understanding what makes it a really powerful instrument. So thank you for that question. And we'll have more, don't worry, going forward when we go into our other Arranger lines. So those are our single touch settings. Now, accompaniment-wise, the PA600 has up to 8 different accompaniment tracks that will back you up. They could be drum, percussion, and any other instrument, basses, guitars, piano, whatever you want. Now, I want you to turn your attention down here. The way these are generally laid out and the way that we design our voicing of styles is that the first 3 intros, intro number 1, is going to give you a rhythmic or a harmonic variation as well as a melodic part to it. So I'm going to play you style or intro number 1 here for this unplugged ballad. And you're going to hear that there's going to be a melody introduced as well as moving chords. And I'm just going to trigger the G major chord to start. So give a listen. So I'll even turn on the synchronized start so I can press synchro start. You can hear the evolving chords now because I'm in intro number 1. I could play over this as well. So you can hear this is a very long intro, and it's letting me know here on the screen how many bars are left in my intro. So that was a pretty long, and now I'm entering variation 1. So now the keyboard's ready for me to put my input and change the chord. Now, intro number 2 by design is going to be for you to trigger the chords that you want to evolve with. Okay, so if I go ahead and start, and I'll plug intro 2. It's going to stay in G. You see I'm changing the chord. So that's going to give you the flexibility to have your own harmonic introduction. And intro number 3 will be always the shortest variation and give you a really quick way to get into the song and then go to the main variation section. You'll always have that heads-up display, by the way, to tell you at what point you are and how many measures you have left, which is nice. Now, a couple of quick things. You'll notice that as I switch my variations, nothing is changing with the single touch settings that I have on my display. Now, if you want those to change as you build a groove, so maybe you start out with a nylon guitar, and as you go to the next variation, it's as simple as going ahead and clicking this button, and when it's flashing, you'll see that as I change the variation, so does the sound that I'm calling up. Now, going through the variations, they will continue to build and be more involved rhythmically. to go ahead and give you more backing. And again, this is perfect for live performance. So if you want to go out there, you don't have a band with you, it's okay. You have the PA600, any of our Arranger keyboards, and you can pretty much just start playing. So let's just play through this really nice style, unplugged ballad, and let's see what we get. We'll start out with intro number 2. Variation 2. And we'll do a break and variation 3. I'll switch my guitar sound. And I have also electric piano there as well. Now, one thing I want to just point out to you, and this is a good time to mention this feature. One thing that you notice is as I was changing chords in my left hand, right? Let me turn off synchronized start. As I change chords in my left hand, if I play G or if I play C in second inversion, it's just changing the root note to be C. So 3 notes together will allow the instrument to detect the chord. And as you can see in the top of my display, I have a C chord there, G7. If I add other notes, G9, C's dominant 7, major 7. So gives you all those different variations and it recognizes them pretty instantly. But let's say I want to make a descending bass pattern. So let's say start at C and then kind of go down to the bass with a B, but maybe a G in first inversion. So I can do that by going to the split category on my screen, and this is called bass inversion. So what that allows me to do is maybe start with the G, and then maybe I can play a D over F. So it'll allow me to put different bass notes, which is really great to make it organic. So give a listen. I'm going to go down to the D over F. That's a G over D. So again, the slash chords make it sound very organic. And as you can see, very simple with the touchscreen display. If I leave the STS name category and I go to split category, I can go ahead and just turn on the bass inversion feature, which is really nice. This also gives you a lot of different parameters to edit about a style, but for example, if I turn on my manual bass, I could change the split point of the keyboard and determine where the upper sounds, upper voices will cut off, which is really nice and convenient. I'm going to go to Unplugged Ballad 2 for a second. I want to start with this guitar sound. Now, some of you may know our dedicated Arranger fans. By the way, welcome to our live stream, everyone. We're nice to have you here. For those of you Arranger aficionados and some of our amazing user base, thank you for joining us if you're here. And I love watching your videos. You all use these keyboards to the fullest potential, which gets me very excited. So I want to talk a little bit about the RX technology, real experience technology, and defined nuance control, which you'll see right up here on my main panel. What that does for the PA600. It's going to give you the utmost reality in the sampling of different types of sounds. In this case, I want to show it to you on a guitar sound. And it's just giving you all different variations of the way a guitar could be played. So if you're playing harder, if you're getting the harmonics on the instrument, if you're kind of like sliding up to a note, that's all sampled to make it sound organic. So when you play it on a gig, it's going to sound cohesive. So this is a steel guitar. It comes up as part of the single touch settings for the Unplugged Ballad number 2, which is a factory preset. And now you can hear, if you have headphones, then you're going to hear the strings and the person's fingers moving around on the strings. Now, in this sound, the assignable switches that I have over here are actually going to give me some different variety. So watch what happens if I press assignable switch 1. And here it's going to slide up and give that trill to the note. That's assignable switch 1. Assignable switch 2, check this out. They're harmonics. So release it. So again, when you're playing live and you want to take it nice to maybe a guitar solo, that's going to really enhance the reality and the real sounding nature of the performance. So let's listen with the accompaniment. We're going to go here to turn. I had manual bass on, so we'll click accompaniment. That lets it know that I want the accompaniment tracks to generate a background. Let's put the harmonics. So that's really going to give you that reality. And a lot of our sounds in this keyboard, you're going to see a very realistic nature. And if you haven't tried an arranger yet, you'll know what I mean when you do get into the keyboard. So by the way, just letting you all know, welcome to our live stream. Once again, my name is Luciano, and we have Eric from KORG in the chat. He will be answering your questions with me today, so I appreciate having him on board. So like I said, I want to play a lot and show you some of these styles. We'll start the new year with some music. Happy New Year again. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these funk sounds. So let's see, funk and soul. Let's check this one out. Funk R&B. So once I go ahead and select funk R&B, click the exit button, and we will now be in that sound. Now let's give a listen. I'm going to just go ahead and we'll play in the key of A flat. So a couple things. When I'm getting ready to play in the PA600, you want to think, okay, well, do I need to do anything first? Am I going to play the organ maybe before I start the accompaniment, the rhythm tracks, or do I want it to start right when I play the A flat 7 chord in this case? So if I wanted to start right when I play, all I have to do is start on the synchronized start, and you'll see it's flashing, and I'll let it know where I want it to start. So we're going to start with intro number 1. Let's see what happens. Variation 2. We'll do a break and variation 3. You'll see it's going to augment the sound. And now we're really going to start to introduce different rhythmic aspects, but also hear the background horns, which makes it a really full production. Now, all of our arranger lines of keyboards will give you this kind of functionality, and they'll follow a very similar structure when it comes to the way we proceed through the variations. So let's keep going. So as you can hear, it's a lot of fun to play, and a lot of those sounds are just really great quality samples, which makes it even more fun to dive in. Now, a couple things about what I was just playing there. I was improvising over the top of that. And the PA600 gives you a couple of ways to make it easy to maybe take a solo and free up your hands when you're playing, because sometimes you don't want to keep having to use your left hand to go ahead and change the chord while you're soloing over the top. You just want to think about the solo. So turn your attention right over here to this part of the panel. There's a really handy feature that I love. It's called the chord sequencer. And what that allows you to do by pressing these two buttons, so the memory and manual bass buttons, if you press them together, that's going to allow you to start recording the chord progression that you're playing. So if I'm playing this, sorry. You can see it's recording. Cool. So by doing that, you can hear now it's going to keep changing the chord. So by using the chord sequencer, I can free up my right hand to start soloing, and it's going to maintain the chord progression that I recorded in. Now, very simple to use it. Again, I'm playing my chords on my left hand. I pressed these two buttons together to start the recording. The display let me know that I'm recording the chord progression. And when I'm done with my recording, so if I have an 8-bar phrase, 16-bar phrase, I tap the sequencer button again, and then I can start playing that chord sequence back by just pressing the play and stop buttons that you can see right here by pressing these two buttons together. So it's very simple to navigate, and it makes it fun for live performance. Now, at any point, by the way, that manual bass button is always accessible. So play bass. So that makes it really fun to start playing. I love playing manual bass. I think I always say this, but in my next life I will be a bass player because I always want to pick up a bass and play the bass. I can't play the bass though, so I just play it on keyboards and pretend like I'm a bass player. All right, cool. So a little bit of the funk there. Someone said I need that. There you go. You can never go wrong with funk. Always a good thing. So let's continue playing through with some other styles. We had the funk there. Let's see. By the way, if any of you have requests of styles to play through, definitely let me know. If any one of the factory styles, and even if I haven't played it, we'll just see what happens. We'll kind of create some music together. And let me just check my time. All right, we're at 3:30. So we'll do like another 5-10 minutes of just exploring some of these styles. And then I want to definitely take you through and show you how easy it is to make some of the styles, because I think that's where you really get into the custom personalization of the PA600, which is awesome. All right, so let's check out some other categories. All right, let's go to Latin. Let's see what we have. So let's check out this samba and see what happens. Now, once you select the style, the way you get the hang of navigating, I can click the exit button. It'll bring me back to the main screen here where I can see all of my information. Just a quick little tidbit of information. As you start to go through your styles, you'll get familiar with the different tabs on the bottom, as well as the different parameters you have to control different parts of the style, your effects, things of that sort. Just a little bit about the effects. This keyboard does have capability for 4 stereo master effects, and you have 125 different effects presets that you can use, which makes it very powerful, which is really nice. Let's see what this sounds like. We'll start with intro number 1, and we'll set it up to go to variation 1. Actually, let's try to go to variation 3. Let's get it going right into the main part of this groove. And what sound do we have here? All right, let's see what this one sounds like. Let's use the guitars, because again, I'm not a guitar player, so we might as well take advantage of the really great guitar sounds to make me feel like a guitar player. So we'll hit start, And again, if I don't have the synchronized start, I'm going to have to hit the start button to start the rhythm. So let's see. We'll start with an F major 7. You can see 2 measures left. Now it's going to go. Try one of our electric pianos. Now we'll go to variation number 1. Slow it down a little bit. You can hear how much the difference is, as the name implies, variation. But there's a lot of contrast between these different parts of the sound, which makes it fun to play for live performance. That's a nice sound. And you can see, just looking at our upper voices here, we can see what makes up this single touch setting, preset number 4, in this particular style. We have the grand piano, scat voices, vibraphone, which is muted, which we could unmute. You can hear that if I click this button, I can simply mute and unmute style parts, which is pretty awesome because, for example, maybe I don't want the voices, I just want to hear the grand piano. I can just click right here and mute the scat voices, and now I only am hearing the grand piano. So now let's bring back our voices. So that's pretty cool. Now, let's try another thing, just to show you how powerful it is. Again, we're still going to go with the style. We're not stopping the style creation. But the balance, easily adjustable between the different voices. So in my upper voices, maybe that vocal scat voices was a little bit loud. I want to have a little bit more piano. All I have to do is go to the volume tab, and you can see right now I can see my upper voices, and my upper voice 1 and 2 are what I'm hearing. Upper voice 1 being the piano, and upper voice 2 being the scat voices. If I click upper voice 2, tap it, I can go ahead and use my knob here to go ahead and roll back the sound and the volume level. Now you're going to hear more piano. So you see how easy it is to go ahead and customize different parts of the sound as you're going along. Now, same goes for the accompaniment tracks, right? Because you're probably saying, well, why don't I see the accompaniment tracks? I'm only seeing the 3 upper voices and the lower voice. Well, if I go ahead and hit my track select button, that will then show me the active accompaniment tracks, and they will all illuminate in green what you're hearing. So you can see I have my percussion is active and my bass. I can mute one if I want to mute the bass. By the way, for any of you who are probably from Brazil out there, these styles, I don't know if you know, but a lot of these things are created by musicians who are from the parts of the world where these instruments, where we want to recreate certain styles. So you wouldn't want to have me creating a Brazilian groove. So somebody else will, who's a specialist with that kind of music, which is what makes these Arranger PA series keyboards so authentic in what you hear in the sound, because the styles are voiced from people who are experienced and knowledgeable in that specific genre of music, which is nice. So as you can hear, I muted the bass in the accompaniment. Now you can hear, if I go to variation 3, you're going to see that accompaniment track 1 just came in, and that's going to be the guitar. I can see if I click that track, real nylon guitar, I can even come in and change what guitar sound is used for that accompaniment track, which is really awesome. And again, to do that, I'm in the volume tab. I am now looking at the real nylon guitar in this accompaniment track 1. You can hear the sound is changing. And now that's back to the original. So, a very powerful instrument. And again, somebody said before the PA600 has been out for a while, and it still is an amazingly powerful and capable machine, especially for someone who's looking to just kind of break into the professional arranger lineup, but maybe does not want or need the features of our more flagship arranger keyboards, such as the PA1000 and the PA4X. So it's a really great and capable machine. Now, as promised, that's 3:38, so I don't want to run out of time and not show you the amazing recording and style creation parts of this. So let's start and say we want to make our own style here. We want to create something that we can manipulate on the spot. So to do that, a couple things. First of all, I just want to show you where your saved styles will go. Now, the factory styles will stay intact. So when you want to work on something, or let's say you want to modify it, there's a really cool command here, copy and paste. So let's say I wanted to take this Brazilian style and modify it and make my own additions and make my own intros. Copy and paste that style that I had selected. And now I can go to any bank, the favorite user bank, and I can go ahead and paste it there. And you see I just tapped, and now look, there it is. It's in my user bank 3, and I can go ahead and edit it to my liking. We're going to use one of these empty slots, though, to create our own style. You can see I was very creative there with my style names while warming up for this stream. Luciano style, very original. So let's make a style. And to do that, we're in style play mode. Let's click the record button. Well, actually, we'll click exit. So we're back to the screen. We'll click record. Now you can see it gives us a couple options. When I click the record button, it'll say record, edit current style, record a new style. We'll record a new style and click OK. You see how nice it is to go through the PA600 interface too. It really responds well, actually, as a touchscreen. So first thing you're going to see variation 1. That's letting me know which element am I affecting. So we want to start with our first variation, and then we'll go on and do 2, 3, and 4, and so on. Recording length, it's letting me know that, hey, you're going to do a 2-measure phrase, which is fine for now, because let's just do something simple and get something recorded so we can just experiment with it and see how it works. And you can see here, I have my different accompaniment tracks. Like I said, there are 8 of them that you can write with. So I'm going to click first here where it says drum. And you can see it now switches to a little record symbol, letting me know that I'm going to record the drum. And let's see. We'll turn our volume back up. So that's a standard kit, but let's maybe do something electronic. So again, just click where it says standard kit. And I can choose my nice electronic. Let's try this one. That's a cool sound. We'll click exit. Now, just to show you how quick and simple it is to start recording your style, we'll leave it at 120. I'm going to turn on my metronome. And before I do that, one last thing. See, it says resolution here. This is the PA600 helping you out because I'm not a metronome. I can't quantize myself. So it will keep me in line to whatever subdivision I want to specify. So if I want to do a 16 note, say I want to do triplet feel, if I'm doing something with a little syncopated swing feel, or 8th note, whatever I want. So we'll leave it 16 for now. And I'll turn my metronome on, and then all I'm going to do to start the recording procedure is hit the start stop button. So metronome and start. 1 measure count in. Now you're going to see it's going to keep looping those 2 measures. So now I hear the kick. Looping. So don't forget, this is variation 1. So maybe we don't want to, make the drum beat too much for variation 1. When I'm done recording, all I got to do is press start stop. So I got my drums in. Let's get some bass. So I'm going to select my bass track. And let's get a bass sound. We'll click where it says acoustic bass. Let's see. We can get something nicer. Let's see. fretless. We can see, look at all these different pages. So by going through the pages, this is accessing the sounds that I have available that we kind of touched on at the beginning when I was in sound edit mode. But you can see all these different That's a cool one. So let's try that. Picked electric bass 1. A couple things I want to do here. I'm going to keep my resolution at 16 notes, so it's going to kind of help lock me in. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to record it. Let's do it in C. And I'm in C minor there. So I'm going to go ahead and designate what kind of chord I'm using. Ooh, bass, there we go. Picked electric bass. So chord, and we'll choose a minor. Now, you can go ahead, once you get into this, and I'm sure those of you who are programming your own instrument, this is going to be very basic for you, but as you go further and further, you can choose different chord variations, and I'll show you what that page looks like, but basically, depending on what chord you trigger in your left hand will determine how the instrument generates the automatic accompaniment, which is where you get into the real power of the instrument, the customizability that you have when you can really say, okay, well, maybe if I'm playing a minor 7 flat 5 chord, I want a different sort of arpeggiation with the guitar track. You can do that with your chord variations. So I got my C minor selected. Well, let's hit record. So we got that little bass line there, and let's go ahead and add maybe a nice piano chord there. Just one chord. I don't think we need that much, but just show you how it works. We got our maybe electric piano for this. Let's check it out. We'll go to our factory, electric piano. Let's see what we got. All right, that's cool. And same thing, we'll put it in C minor because we are in C minor. All right, and let's hit record. One measure counting. Cool. We got that, and maybe a little percussion shaker. So you can see I have my percussion track there. Again, same thing. Click percussion. I'm in record mode. This is a shaker. We'll save the shaker for variation too. All right. Put something simple over the top. Here we go. All right, so we got something there, right? Now, let's just show you how easy it is now to go ahead and apply that to, let's say, variation 2. Because now if I go to variation 2, which would correspond to this button, I'm going to have nothing. So clicking the menu button when I'm in style record mode, I can go to style edit, and it's so nicely laid out, but you can see copy from style, and you can copy everything you just did into a whole nother style, which is, and I see somebody made a comment actually, the ability to create styles is really fast is the key, and 100% right, because you can go in and you see how easy this creation process is to go and do it. So look, talking about fast, I'm ready to copy. So I'm going to say, okay, I want to copy from the variation 1 that we just did. I'm going to copy not just the percussion track, but all of the tracks, and we'll copy to variation number 2, all of the tracks. So exactly what I have in variation 1 is going to be now in 2. Execute. Yes. I did that now. It's that quick. I can click exit. And now, in my element control here, I can go to variation 2. And if I hit play, you're going to hear what we just did in 1. But we don't want that, right? Because we need to build it a little bit. So I'm thinking now, let's add a little shaker in the percussion track. So let's hit record. Something like that. And so we got that in there, and let's add a nice, we'll add a snare to really keep the groove moving. So here we go. So we got our snare, we got our shakers that we added, and let's change the bass line now because we want to have something else that's going to give you, you know, a little bit of variation. So let's go to bass, and we'll click bass. And first thing, I want to go ahead and delete the track because I don't want to keep the bass line that I had from the first variation. So we'll delete the track. Yes. We'll do something like that, maybe. Nice. Let's try that. All right, here we go. So we're getting something there. We got a little cool groove going. And we can leave the rest. Now, I mean, as you continue to progress, again, it's as simple as what I like to do, my process if I'm creating styles and I want to go quickly, do variation 1, copy it to variation 2, edit what I need to evolve the groove. And only if I really want to take a totally drastic different approach do I sometimes just start fresh. But think about it. When you copy, you save yourself that time because the same sounds, the chord quality that you're inputting at the moment, everything's going to carry over exactly as it was variation 1. The same goes for the intros, by the way. As you can see, when I select element here, the PA600 lets me choose exactly which one of these buttons I'm programming. So again, very simple. And for the fills that you heard, everything that you heard me play before, this is how it's programmed. And as you go deeper and deeper, you realize how much customizability you have when recording styles. So what do you do with it now that you have it recorded? You can click the top arrow. This is always going to be your menu. That's going to give you various different options to usually write, edit, copy, paste, all those things. So I can go ahead and click write style. There's a really handy undo button, by the way. So if you just, maybe I recorded that track and let's say I didn't like the bass line I played, you can click undo. You use that a lot. I use that a lot. And I can click write style and look how simple it is. I can go ahead and choose where I want it to go. So let's put it in user bank 3 and we'll use this empty slot. Click exit. And I can use my keyboard to title my style. So we'll call this New Year. What a groove. Where's the R? Wow. Here's the R. Perfect. Okay. And that's it. Right. And it's saved. And now when I leave, I have all my style list, and you're going to see it's going to show up right there. And now you can see if I play different chords in G minor, and I have the ability now to go in, and if I want to start changing my styles, single touch settings, I should say. So now that's basically written. We have those two different variations. So if I play, if I go to variation 2, by the way, there's a really cool handy button. If you're ever playing live on the PA series and you say, you know what, like the accompaniment needs to be a little bit more prevalent and I want to drop my live performance track, whatever I'm playing in my upper voices. It's a really nice balance knob here that you saw me using, but you can just adjust the balance between the accompaniment tracks. So watch. Just accompaniment now. See, you don't hear anything. And as I roll it, so maybe you want to have like a nice background or so it's a lot of fun to start playing. Now, as the editing process evolves, I see some of you asking lots of questions. I see Eric answering them too. But if you're creating styles at home, okay, what I recommend is start with a place of just experimenting, get your inspiration first, and just kind of sketch out roughly, like just mess around with it. Get what you want to play, and this is how I would go about it. I start messing around with different keyboard, different patterns, and then I have all these ideas in my head. So I take time to plan first. This way, once I dive in to the editor, I'm ready and kind of jumping at the bit to just get going and start putting in what I want. The reason I advise that is because then it makes it very quickly and easy to execute exactly what you want to put into the keyboard. Now, what's really great, by the way, is if I go back into editing, again, I'm seeing the style, New Year, that's the one we just made. If I click record and I edit the current style, you're going to see any of these parts. If I want to have a longer augmented piano part, let's say with different, comping, I could record 8 bars of the piano. And even though the drums are looping every 2 bars, the piano could be extended. So it's going to give you that rich, natural sounding. So it's a really great thing. But continuing, we're going to go and finish out our tour in the sequencer. And we'll go ahead and exit our style recording mode. Yes. Now, one thing that's really awesome about the PA series of keyboards is if you want to just start recording, let's say you find a style that you like. It could be one of the unplugged ballads or that funk one that we played from before. It makes it really easy to record all of those accompaniment tracks at once, which is really convenient. So I just want to show you that last feature, and then we'll end on that note and hopefully see you all again soon. But let's find a style that we like first. So we'll go pull up our factory styles. And let's go through here. Let's find one of these Latin grooves. Maybe that would be cool. So we got reggaeton. Let's see what we have. Let's just check out what variation 1 sounds like. So that's cool. So let's say we like that and we want to record it. Very easy on the PA600. We'll go into sequencer mode and we'll click the record button. Now this does have the capability to function as a multi-track sequencer, but what also is pretty convenient is the quick record function. Backing sequence, which means that anything I play, the entirety of the styles, any of the factory styles or any style that you created can be recorded very easily, which is really nice. So I'll click backing track sequence, record. Okay, we'll select the resolution to high. If you select the resolution to high, it's going to record any rhythmic variation that you play. And let's give a listen to what happens. So we'll leave it at that. And it's that simple to go ahead and record. So I hit stop, I play back. And it's that easy. So you can hear, again, just as an inspirational tool, if you don't want to get too deep into the instrument, it's just right there for you to have the ability to record whatever inspiration strikes. And you can rename your song. And even using the USB port on the back, you can take that MIDI data and import it wherever else you want for your other musical creations. So I see lots of questions. By the way, if any of you, again, I always say this, but whatever KORG product you have, please share, record yourself, take videos playing the instruments. If you made some really cool styles, post it, because you know what? It's really always great to see the community, and this is an amazing community that we have here, and everyone shares great musical ideas. And I've seen, again, some of the amazing things you all accomplish on these instruments. So it's really inspiring to see what you create with the power that you have in an arranger instrument. So with that said, it is going to be a wrap for us today, but thank you again for joining us. Once again, my name is Luciano with KORG, and I want to thank Eric for helping out with the chat today as well. And Corrine, our social media advisor, she is really great, and she always helps us get these streams up and running. So thank you so much. And I'll leave you with an amazing instrument. The PA600 is a very capable arranger that is affordable, very portable, and has great built-in speakers that will carry you through any performance venue. So definitely recommend, and hope to see you soon, and excited to be doing lots of streams for you this coming year. Thank you guys. Have a good one.